It's Friday night at Roosevelt Stadium in Kent, Ohio. There is snow on the ground, and the stands are now empty. It's another high school football season in the books for head coach John Nemec. This season went well for the 64-year-old Nemec, whose team made the playoffs for just the second time in his 27 years at the helm as Roosevelt head coach. You'd think this veteran coach wouldn't get nervous after his Hall of Fame induction in 2005 and more than 30 total years as a high school coach. You'd be dead wrong.
I've been a head coach for now 30 years, and every Friday you're still that great anticipation. It's just an exciting kind of way to live. To say I'm not nervous would be very misleading, because each year I'm as nervous now in my 30th year as a head coach as I was when I began coaching.
It's a way of life that Nemec has enjoyed since his teenage years. He started playing football in the 7th grade in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, but he got his passion for coaching from his father, who is in the Pennsylvania Coaches Hall of Fame.
My father was a head high school football coach at Penn Hills High School outside of Pittsburgh for a lot of years. I went to practice with him. I saw firsthand what coaching was all about. That's where really I got my initiation in football.
Nemec took the tutelage from his father to the University of Toledo for his first gig as an assistant coach. He later moved on to be the freshman coach at the West Point Academy, but what Nemec really wanted to do was be a head coach.
Quite frankly, I would rather be a head coach in a high school than an assistant at a college. I think it's a way to lead a program, to lead young men, and possibly impact more lives than you do as an assistant.
Nemec got his first shot as a high school football coach in Wapakoneta, Ohio, a small town near Lima with a population of just under 10,000 residents. Nemec stayed there for 3 years before moving to Kent to become a teacher and the head football coach. Nemec said he couldn't have selected a better city to live and coach in.
This community's been great to myself and my family. That's why we've stayed here. Number one, the community puts kids' best interest in a high priority. And I'm glad I'm in the Kent City schools, because I believe they're run properly and kids are the focus.
Nemec values the relationships he has with his players and puts that above wins and losses.
Well, I like the fact that you can build relationships and impact young people. Hopefully, football and the way we handle things at Kent Roosevelt is a way to help young men grow, mature, and maybe become a little bit better fathers, citizens, and husbands someday.
The relationship with kids is the reason Nemec came back to coaching after he left in 2000 to become Kent Roosevelt's athletic director. Nemec was back at the helm by 2006 because he missed the constant contact with his players.
Well, I missed the relationships with kids. I was an administrator being an athletic director, and that took me away from kids. I probably couldn't have named or didn't get to know very well more than 10 or 15 kids a year. Where in football you have 65, and as a classroom teacher you have a number of kids, and those relationships and those friendships you make are lifelong kind of situations.
Nemec tells any beginning coach that it's not about the X's and O's, it's about being with kids.
I meet too many young people to tell me they're an expert on the option or the passing game or how to zone block, and I lose interest in what they have to say. I really want to meet young men or young women who say, hey, I want to be around kids, I want to impact kids' lives, and then they're on track to becoming a coach.
Nemec has had many great relationships with his players in his 27 years as head coach, but there's one player that he remembers most. A statue of Benny Kogel sits out in front of Roosevelt Stadium. Kogel played quarterback for Nemec in the mid-90s before being diagnosed with bone cancer. Kogel had to have one of his arms amputated because of the deadly disease, but that didn't stop him from playing football. He made the switch to kicker his sophomore season. Kogel later died in the winter of his junior year, but Nemec says his determination is something he will never forget.
Coach Tressel was at Youngstown State at the time, and he helped Benny and had his kicking coach work with Benny, and it was a real great thing to watch this young man overcome some adversity, and just grow into, number one, a wonderful kicker, but number two, he never lost his competitive edge. He never felt sorry for himself. He never expected anything for free. He worked hard, and he was a great inspiration to not only our football program, but this entire community. When Benny passed, it was a blow to all of us, but he's a young man that I personally will never forget.
Nemec achieved his 200th win this year on October 15th in a 56-35 rout of Akron-Springfield. But Nemec says his best game moment dates back to the mid-90s in a game against Cuyahoga Falls for the league championship. The Rough Riders trailed 14-10 with 10 seconds left, and they had the ball at their own 5-yard line.
Basically, the game was over. But I went out in the field and I was talking to the kids about let's try to get a first down and throw a Hail Mary. And the kids said, well, what do you want to run, Coach? And I told them a play, and I started off the field, and the officials stopped me, and they said, Coach, you got to get out of here. They grabbed me, and they said, you got to get out of here. We're going to throw a flag on you. Well, I thought, hey, we're already on the 5-yard line. A flag's only going to take us to the 3 or 2. So I went back to the huddle, and I said, guys, there's something I forgot to tell you. No matter what happens, I want you to look up in the sky. No matter what happens, they're looking up in the sky. I said, isn't it beautiful? And they said, yeah. I said, it's insignificant what happens here tonight. You guys made a great comeback. I'm very proud of you, and I love you all. And the kids mobbed me. They jumped on me. And the officials were coming in there, Coach, you got to get off the field. You got to get off the field. So I went off the field, and the assistant coach said, what do you call? And I said, I don't know. Well, Bell dropped back. He threw a little dump pass to Shardy. It was about a 3-yard gain. Shardy stumbled to go down, and their safety, who was a great player, went right over top of Shardy and missed him. And Shardy caught himself and looked, and there was nobody there, and he went 95 yards for a touchdown, and we became champions.
Nemec says it's these moments that make coaching high school football so gratifying.
And I don't know if it was the moment where the feeling in that huddle, but it was a magical moment that those kids, I don't believe I will ever forget or the kids will ever forget.
In a world where winning means everything, it's good to see that at least one coach knows that affecting kids in a positive way means more than wins and losses.